Good evening, everyone. This is The Voice. I'm going to do a little bit of news today. Starting out, we're going to talk about Governor McMaster's and how he decided to use the money from the CARE Act. He's using $32 million of the $48.5 million from this CARE Act to help fund low-income families in paying for tuition to private schools. Now, this is only going to be a one-time deal, and it's expected to only pay for 5,000 students across the whole state of South Carolina. Tuition the amount given per student will be roughly $65,000, and as far as I know, not many private schools have a tuition low enough for this to cover. And low-income families wouldn't have enough money to be able to cover the difference. Now, some of the schools I've looked up, two of which are admittedly in Georgia, but they were private schools I would have been able to go to when I was in high school. Now, these two are Kiwanis High School in Augusta, Georgia. Its yearly tuition, not including fees, and there are fees at private schools, is roughly $11,670 a year. Augusta Christian, also in Georgia, is roughly $8,000 to $13,000 a year. A school closer to where I live, Oconee Christian Academy, is roughly $6,000 to $7,000 a year, not including the fees. I feel as though this money would have been better spent helping public schools, helping buy supplies for teachers, seeing as though they've now been out of school and haven't been able to get a paycheck. Understandably, unemployment is there. That's a whole different topic I'll talk to you about later. Possibly. I don't know. Anyway. Or even increasing the pay for these teachers that are about to come back after this virus. Now they've got to make sure that the students are up to par with being homeschooled. Admittedly, most of my generation are not very good homeschool teachers. Just saying. A lot of us don't have time. Some of us, like me and my wife, are essential workers, so we're not home enough to be able to teach our children. Luckily, my mom has been able to do that for us. Another thing I'm going to talk about is Harley Davidson. Now, some of y'all that actually know me know I ride a Harley. Love the brand, love the styling, but in the recent years they haven't been making the profit that they used to. Because they're struggling to bring in new riders, a lot of their designs are staying the same across the board. Last year, they didn't even hype up their new lineup. I mean, the year before, when I got into riding, man, it was just everywhere you looked from the time of June all the way until they released in August, there was something new coming out. They were transitioning from the dynasty of Harley Davidson into the Softail line. Meaning like the Street Bob, which was a Dyna, the Fat Bob, which was also a Dyna, were transferring into the new Softail line. The Dyna were more of a hardtail. They had dual shocks on the back to help with suspension. But now they're in Softail line where there's only a monoshock, which is apparently better. I don't know. I never rode a hardtail. But anyway, so with coronavirus, it appears as though Harley has made the decision to hold off release, which would normally be next month, until June or February of 2021. Which I had to look this up to find out. They didn't publicize it, as far as I know. They don't have it on their website, nothing. Even the dealership I go to said nothing about this. I mean, you know, for a company that has literally just dropped out of a stock tier, I'll say stock tier. They were Fortune 500, I believe. Now they're in a different stock bracket. They're not really hyping up their new lineup. I mean, they've got 2 brand new bikes in the 2021 lineup. They're going to be a naked bike, the Bronx, which to me looks very, very impressive. I can't wait to actually see it in person, possibly even get to test ride it. I might try to do a video on that if I can actually get my GoPro to work with my helmet. I haven't truly gotten it to work yet. They also have an adventure bike coming out, the Pan America. This one, I'm excited about it. It's a new direction for Harley. We haven't really seen a new direction for Harley in a very long time. This is going to be, as I said, an adventure bike, so it'll be a dual sport. In other words, you can take it on the road, you can take it off-roading. If you want to go camping, you can essentially put a bunch of suitcases on it, go off-roading, go find a nice spot in the woods, and go camping. Another thing, I mean, they just haven't hyped up their, and I'm sorry about the camera, guys. I'm struggling tonight, you know. Anyway, they haven't hyped it up. I mean, I've seen some videos online from dealer shows and all that, but as I said, they're not publicizing anything. They're not trying to hype their new lineup. And I realize, you know, with coronavirus, people are trying to save money. But for this company, they've got to spend some money to make some. They've got to get the word out, man. Like, I look at Acura commercials, Chevy commercials all the time, and I'm watching like Hulu and streaming and stuff. Even on YouTube, I see automotive commercials, but nothing on Harley. Most of the guys I talked to, when I started riding, I started on a Sportster, and I know I said I didn't ride a hardtail, but technically those are hardtails. Anyway, so even when I started riding, I was riding a Sportster, and people would see my bike and go, "Oh, I didn't know Harley made those style bikes. That's very sporty." I'm like, "Well, it is a Sportster." But most people flock to like the R1s, the Ninjas, the CBR 1000s, and you know, Harley doesn't have that. They're cruisers. That's their bread and butter. But you know, I'm happy because now we're getting a naked bike out of Harley. So this would be, I think it would be awesome. I'm hoping that it really takes off because I would love to see more like sport bikes out of Harley. I mean, they had the live wire. I think the live wire looked very nice. It didn't sell well because of the price point they put on it. They are trying to sell that thing at $30,000. The competitor for it, the I think it was Lightning, sells for $16,000. Nearly twice the price for a brand new bike. No one has tested. I mean, it's been tested, obviously. People have ridden it. Most of the people I've seen that have ridden it enjoy it. But again, no one knows about this thing. At least no one outside of the motorcycle community. And as I said, for it being a new entry into the electric bike, the price point's way too high. No one's going to buy a $30,000 bike from a company that literally just started making these, who had a reputation for bad motorcycles thanks to the AMF days. But, I mean, as I said, so we're getting a naked bike, we're getting a dual sport, as Tree Surgeon says, dad jeans. And I think it's a good direction. Hopefully it takes off well. Anyway, Thank you guys. Y'all have a good day.